How can you be certain that the pool in the backyard of the house that you're planning to buy is situated within the owner's property lines and not partially constructed on the neighbor's land? It could be very costly to assume that it looks fine based on where the boundaries to the home's lot seem to be. A potential encroachment, which is just a fancy word for something that physically crosses over the boundary line, is one of the many reasons that obtaining a boundary survey prepared by a licensed surveyor is typically part of the home buying process. However, in Florida, neither the buyer nor the seller is required by law to secure a boundary survey before buying or selling a home. But if the buyer is using a lender to finance the purchase, the lender will most likely require that a survey be obtained and certified to them, which makes the surveyor liable to the lender for inaccurate descriptions on the survey. Even if a lender is not involved, the cost of the survey is minimal in comparison to the investment you'll make in the home. We're usually talking a few $100s, so it's highly recommended for all buyers. Listen to the end of this video to find out what happens to your title insurance policy if you decide not to obtain a boundary survey. But first, let's discuss the things that a survey shows and what it's used for. To start, there are many types of surveys that apply to the purchase of real estate, depending on its current condition and what it will be used for. But today we'll be discussing only boundary surveys, which are utilized to clearly mark the property lines and define the improvements, such as a house, patio, or fence, that are situated on the land that's being purchased. The survey will also contain flood zone information. A survey prepared for a property that's located within a flood zone must include a flood elevation certificate to indicate how high the house was built in relation to the flood zone. This is required to bind hazard insurance covering the property and may also be required by the county for new construction homes. Your boundary survey will also show the location of any easements, which is just a fancy word for the right to enter onto another landowner's property. The most common easements are those for utility access or a shared driveway. One instance when a survey is not needed is for the purchase of a condominium unit. This is because at the time that the condo building was built, the land and unit dimensions were surveyed and became a part of the declaration of condominium that established the project. Buyers, sellers, and lenders can rely on those prior measurements, which can also be found online in the official property records. For properties that are not within a condominium association, previously drawn surveys are not recorded in an online registry. A copy can be obtained either from the surveyor or the title company who handled the closing. And lastly, what is the effect on your title insurance policy? Well, if you obtain a survey, the title policy may accept from coverage only the encroachments, overlays, boundary line disputes, and other matters which are actually shown on the survey. But if no survey is obtained, there's a general survey exception that accepts from coverage anything that would have been shown on a boundary survey if one had been done. If you're planning to buy a home and want to discuss the decision to obtain a survey in greater detail, send a text to 561-225-2676 to set up a time to speak with me.